Another week down, and here we go. Ready to do a little lower league talk, Mel?
Sure. I didn't watch any of it, so can I just listen in?
Yeah, I mean, well, it works out really well because 3 out of the 4 people in this room didn't watch any of it. I'm the only one who did.
All right, so welcome to the Sam Houston Show, everybody. It'll be the sound of his voice.
I'm going to break my rule. 3 sentences, you're talking too much. I'm going to say like 5 or 6. It's going to suck. Let's start the show.
Lord in the land of those that are land. Rent to be bad upon our head. What's with the iron? And drink your rye. Don't east for people and have another great day. In the fuck to go to ground. The Lord. Great short. Damn rabbit. Damn brown. Hello.
Hello and welcome to DU Does EFL, a completely biased, brief recap of the English Football League as told by 3 common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and I am joined tonight as with Teagan and Hiram. How we doing, kids? Yerp. This is when I say something to you and you go, well, hello, Sam. I am doing lovely.
Hey, Sam.
There we go. Very good. It is always on the 1s and 2s, producer Mel. Mel, how we doing?
I'm okay.
All right. We are recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch us every single Monday night live, except for this Monday because of certain reasons. And should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Producer Mel, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Well, you can follow us on all the socials and send us a message. We like, if you're sending it into Instagram, the other gram, he checks that one. So make sure there's at least 2 nipples showing in every photograph. Damn it. I broke all the rules, didn't I already?
No, he doesn't check it though, is the problem.
Well,
the problem is what happens is that the notifications come to my phone and all I get are all of the food posts from his wife sent to him. And you know those 2 are sitting in the same damn room and she's sending him Instagram messages about food and he ain't reading them. I eventually, I get so many notifications. I'm just like, Graham, read your wife's shit and just send it to him.
Please, everybody, give Houston something else to look at. And you can always send in an email at dufootballshow@gmail.
Very good. Gives me the thing now. That is now forever held over your head, isn't it?
I love it. I'm glad I brought this into the show.
I'm also, we already talked about it on the main show, but I got to give just, again, Young Hot Freshness in his new Young Hot Fresh gear.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, this is the week we don't video.
I mean, yeah.
The swoosh is so shiny.
It's so glimmery.
It's jammed.
And well, the key thing to look at is the big O that's around the lion, because that would represent the amount of goals they typically score with the exception of this past weekend. We're drinking the exact same shit we've been drinking over the last show because, newsflash, we record this all on the same day. And let's go ahead and get into it. Championship corner.
I'm rolling, and I can't get it up. No.
That is some high quality production, isn't it, T?
Totally.
You weren't ready. You weren't ready for the I've fallen and I can't get up.
I love that commercial.
And that is the end of that. The oh no is the charming docile tones of one producer, Mel. And she assumes that is how Rebecca Lowe, the host for EPL Mornings, sounds. Because she's British and that's her doing British.
Oh.
And her reset word for all things British. Because normally, a little thespian thing here, when you're doing impersonations, you have a reset word, right? So like for me, if I try to do an English accent, it's right. And if you need to get yourself back to making sure you're not sounding off accent, you go back to your reset word. So right, we're going down to the pub, have a pint, right? So just that's the word that brings me back. So I make sure I'm saying the accent the right way. Hers is apparently,
But good, yeah. Now we've all got to go down to the Bobby
Oh,
I don't know. My voice is terrible. Leave me alone.
Getting all cocky
Can I
on
go
us.
back and stop talking again?
Yeah, sure. That's fine. No complaints over here. I mean, that works out pretty well. Getting right into the championship, the Foxes get another 2 victories this week. Interesting one. They were playing Stoke City, and Stoke City went up 1-0. T, your dad found a pretty interesting story, and I think it applies for you being a younger person. Go ahead, take it away. Yeah, you talk about the story he told you.
So there was this 9-year-old, and he was on, I guess, the opposite team's
Yeah, he was
side.
with the Stoke guys,
Yes.
right?
I didn't.
Yeah, it's okay. You're
So basically, my dad was saying that there was 2 grown men who were like bullying this 9-year-old.
the 9-year-old, they go
I
up
saw
1-0, and the Stoke kid goes 1-0, and then 2. Shocker. Problematic white men know no borders.
When I went to the Arsenal game in New York over the summer,
Mhm.
and Arsenal lost. It's not the point.
Right.
But okay.
Hey, they won my game I went to, so.
Oh, an Arsenal lot. Let me get a shot. Oh, no, wait. You're not of age. I can't get you a shot of my lord.
Not yet.
Oh, you're 21st? That'll be the first drink I pour you, young lady. It's a shot of my lord.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You won't want to drink.
There was this kid who I forget, they played Manchester United. Yeah.
Mhm.
He looked back because I was cheering for Arsenal, and he said "F you." He was like my age. I didn't say nothing back, but my dad did. I was like, he's 13.
Yeah.
But-
That's the funny part, because if like that was, the case of like 2 large grown men were like yelling at T, she'd see her father in about 10 years. I'm sure it would be pled down to manslaughter.
100%.
But it's just like, why? Like, you're 9 and you're bragging. Okay, they were up. That's what you do. Your team's winning. You brag about it.
Right.
That's the joy of sports. You make fun of people for their teams losing.
But then grown men.
They got
People are
so butthurt about it. Like, I never thought I would see so many, like, 2 men just, like, get their faces, like, bright red over a child who's going like this to them. Like, just
Right.
holding up 1-0 to them.
Right.
When I went to Goodison, went over the first time. The second time I wasn't at Goodison, but the first time I went to Goodison, they were playing Arsenal, and this was a while ago. Tim Howard was still with the team at the time. I told Mel, I've never heard so many small children say the C word as much as they had heard that day, with like them going through puberty and their voices cracking. And it's just like, and all the dads are just sitting next to them with their arms crossed, being like, way to go, boy. Nicely done.
You say at Goodison, right?
Oh, that goodness. Oh, my God. It's just insanity. Keeping it going, though. Middlesbrough has now rattled off 3 straight wins, has gone from being in 19th place, moved all the way up into 16th. So appearing to finally right the ship and get out of the way. But Queen's Park Rangers, Rotherham are now in the bottom. And of course, Wednesday has still yet to get a victory yet. So they're in time trouble. And that's a team that, they just got promoted, but they were part of the furniture in the championship forever. And then they got demoted down to the League One, got promoted again in dramatic fashion, and now they can't get a single damn win. Leeds also got a couple of wins this week. They've now moved into 5th place, just behind Sunderland. And let's go ahead and move on to League One. Team, not sure if you know this, but your dad and I have an affinity for a team on the South Coast called Portsmouth, nicknamed Pompey, because we went down to Frampton Park.
Zesty.
Yeah. Zesty. Mel, we're gonna in post. We're gonna need to record her saying "zesty." That's gonna need to be a sound drop on my board.
You need to play that anytime my dad acts any type of gay, because anytime he does that, I say it and he hates it.
Got it, zesty.
All right, give me a good read on Zesty.
Yeah.
Zesty.
Yeah. See, now she's giggling. You got to get her later.
Yeah, I gotta get her serious.
All right, but they beat Wickham and they also beat Port Vale. Here's the fun part: is the way stuff is spelled in England. It does not look at Wickham. It's Wycombe, right? So Wycombe. No, Wickham.
Oh.
It would be WIC. It was going to be Wickham, but no, I don't know. That's how they like to do things. But they sit alone in first place and are the only undefeated side. Oxford's only 1 point behind them, but there is a 6 different point difference between them and the other playoff sides who are currently Barnsley in third, the Posh, which is Preston North End in fourth, Stevenage in fifth, and Bolton in sixth. Wigan and Reading both lost both of their matches this week. Wigan, that's now like 4 in a row for them after starting with the points deduction, getting themselves out of the drop. Now they find themselves back in the drop, and they're in the second to last place spot. And Reading really not doing well. They just lost to Leyton Orient in a London derby, and that is not a team Reading would typically lose to. So Wigan and Reading are sitting in not the last place spot, but they're sitting in the next 2 spots for relegation right now. And those are both teams that just came down from the championship.
When the fuck did Leyton Orient become a League One side?
I know they've always been a League Two side.
Right.
They won the league last year.
Okay.
Promoted.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
Excuse my ignorance.
no problem. Also, the thing to note is that League One and League Two will be playing games over the international break. So they'll have games over the next weekend as well. So we will haven't decided what we're going to do for the international break show yet, but we're going to have to do an EFL show because there's going to be damn games that happened.
Thanks.
League Two, Accrington Stanley. Did your dad ever tell you why we like Accrington Stanley?
No, but that's also zesty.
We know the groundsman. That's the groundskeeper that we do interviews with is Ben Kay, and he's the groundskeeper the head groundskeeper at Accrington Stanley.
Sure.
Yes. Very English name, isn't it? Accrington Stanley.
They're friends with some British guy that mows the lawn for a living.
Sounds fitting.
Yeah, but he's our British friend, damn it. Legitimacy, baby. We're here. We're real, man. We're for real. Everybody loves us.
When you break it down like that, damn.
We interview him every season, and we always say it's the most interesting interview about watching grass grow.
Jeez.
So legitimately, we just talk about how he keeps up the pitch and all that kind of stuff. But his very cool thing that he got to do is because he was with a non-league side called Chorley, and Chorley, he made it on BBC News because he stayed up for 48 hours and had a tent over his field. You all. That is you all.
Just keep going. Just keep going. You're the mature one. Keep going. Just keep going.
Broadcasting network. I know.
Yes, God, very good. Thank you. It's not on me. And,
It's on me.
It's on my dad.
So
He's not like that. Stop. He made a joke in the car.
fucking
A year
brilliant.
ago.
But I did. But that's an okay slip for me. That one's an okay slip. But they'd done a story on him because he had put a tent over top of the field and had heaters on the field to make sure it thawed out so they could play their FA Cup game in time. He had to stay up for 48 hours to make sure that the field passed. And then they won and advanced to the fourth round of the FA Cup. And because of all that, because of that fanfare, one, he got the job at Accrington Stanley, right? So he got a better job. And two, he ended up also got to go to Wembley and did
do it for the FA Cup. Yep.
Where Leicester beat Chelsea.
Let's not talk about that. Just move on with your little show.
But the one we always like to say is, so Aki, they ended up being Morecambe, but we call them Morecambe just because of Harambe, and Shrimps Out because that's their mascot, the shrimp. Is Shrimps Out from Morecambe, and they beat them at home, and they move up to 11th. Here's an interesting one. Forest Green Rovers are an absolute free fall. They're one of the teams that got relegated from League One last season, and they are currently dead last. A little interesting thing about Forest Green Rovers, that is they're a green stadium, and they are 100% vegan as a club.
How ironic.
So their food stands and all that kind of stuff, it's all vegan and everything. That's the ownership group, which is cool. Like you're trying to do something, in that regards, but you still need to win damn football games. And you fell out of League One and you're on pace to fall out of League Two. And as for anybody who's watched the Wrexham show, the last place you want to be is in non-league football. Because you have to spend a lot of money to get back to league football, and you don't make any money in the process.
You know how they get that money back? Not being vegan.
The lentils ain't helping for sure.
No, lentils are
it's
definitely not helping.
People rather have real wings than cauliflower wings.
Yep.
I
I do cauliflower wings every once in a while, but that's because I have a bad ticker and I'm got to watch what I eat. Womp womp. Notts County is still cruising at the top of the league with Stockport, Gillingham, and Wimbledon just behind them. Again, more English stuff for you, T. Gillingham, spelled Gillingham, Gillingham, but it's pronounced Gillingham. And of course, how British is this? What is their nickname?
The Gilly. Oh,
The
no.
Gills.
Oh,
Instead of the Jills.
okay.
You would think it's Gillingham. You would think they call themselves the Jills, but no, they call themselves the Gills. And decide what you want your pronunciation to be. It's not that hard, one or the other. It really isn't.
They made up the language too, and they still don't know what to do.
And finally checking in with Wrexham. They had a 0-0 draw with Mansfield in the midweek and a 1-0 victory over Crowley Town, who's no longer problematic, but once, as we've already noted, was very problematic. And they have moved into 7th place.
Interesting.
So there we go. Learned a bunch of names of teams you have never heard of before, right, T?
Yeah.
You don't worry. Arsenal will be losing to one of them the first weekend in the first weekend in June for the third round of the FA Cup because they'll be too busy and focused on Champions League and everything else. Hiram, are you starting to get a little more educated on the lower leagues now?
A little bit.
Very good. All right, perfect. Well, everybody, please check out the regular show, DU Football Show, wherever you get your podcast. Of course, we have this show comes out every single Thursday. Mel, thoughts?
I would like to point out, being a Villa fan, that whenever there's drama in Birmingham City, we tend to enjoy it.
Oh, yes. This has got to be a story to bring
And
up.
the manager from Birmingham City was sacked this week, and all the fans are blaming Tom Brady.
What?
Tom Brady owns a minority share in the company.
Oh.
Right. And apparently the manager was very popular, and they're all quite upset. And Tom Brady is who they're all roasting on Twitter.
Thus proving that unless you are a Pats fan or a Bucks fan, you hate Tom Brady.
And so, of course, all the Villa fans are eating this shit up. Do you know who is rumored to be the front runner to replace him?
The recently ex-manager of DC United.
Wayne Rooney.
It's only a matter of time before he's my manager, and it's only a matter of time before he's Man U's manager.
Oh God.
It's coming. It's coming. It's only going to be a matter of time. It's going to happen.
The Ajax takeover is going to end soon.
I mean, it took the McTominator to save it. In the Fergiest of Fergie times, it was pretty crazy. And of course, as always, if you'd like to support the show, you can check out our Patreon. Mel, how do they find our Patreon?
At dufootballshow.com is not where you find the Patreon. That's where you find the show. You go to patreon.com/dufootballshow, and we all know you're not going to type all that in. So just scroll right on down. Link is wherever you are listening to the show right now. Also, we've started a TikTok.
Yeah, we're like that now.
And yes, T,
I want to manage it.
I will give you the login information, and you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But yes, we now have a TikTok at DU Football Show, and we need your Patreon money because the TikTok I've put up with all of the lineup of beers and ciders that Houston has bought for the next 2 months.
For you.
That money's got to come from somewhere. And thank you. It comes from you, our dedicated listeners.
Here you go. By the way, I just wanted to be noted while we're not recording tonight, Mel did look at her computer screen the entire time and motioned as if you all were there. Just got to point it out.
Because I love you and you and you.
Till next week, buddy.
Night.
Lord in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Rest to be a pad upon the tower head. What you the iron and drink your rye. Sell stone.
Houston.
Fortune of and have another crown. Great day, the fucking go to ground. Smell the Lord. But straight and short. Sam Rabbit.
Sam Brown.
How? How? Then the fucking dear one.